Welcome to the tutorial for Virtual Pool. This tutorial will quickly lead you through overall operations in practice mode and doing trick shots. Other sections include hardware setup and remote player setup. Let's look at how easy Virtual Pool is to play. Choose Game Setup by using the mouse or arrow keys to highlight it. Click the left mouse button or press Enter. The Game Setup menu lets you decide on 4 different games of pool, and whether you'll use practice mode or one of the game modes played with other players. The practice mode introduces many of the special functions of Virtual Pool, so let's choose it by highlighting it and hitting Enter or clicking the left mouse button. To exit the menu, highlight OK and click the left mouse button or click the right mouse button. Click the right mouse button to bring up the main program control menu. Choose Game Options menu. You decide to practice using a 9-ball rack. The table is set with a rack for 9-ball and Virtual Pool is in aim mode. Check the middle of the status area for action modes like aim or view. The lower line shows mouse actions. Replay rates and cue angle are on the right. Virtual Pool provides full 3D control of all the action. Moving the mouse left or right aims the cue stick. Moving the mouse forward or backward tilts the table. Holding down the left mouse button and pulling the mouse toward you will bring the table in closer. Mouse actions are reflected in the mouse status area. Get into a comfortable position to aim, just like you would on a real pool table. To stroke the cue stick, hold down the S key and move the mouse the same way you would if it was a cue stick. You must keep the S key depressed while stroking the cue stick. Move the mouse fast and you'll have a strong stroke. Move it slow and you'll have a gentle stroke. You can replay your last shot by hitting R on the keyboard. Undo your previous shot by hitting U on the keyboard. You can control the speed of the replay by hitting the plus or minus keys. Check the status area to confirm the replay speed. Watch the shot replayed from an overhead view by hitting O on the keyboard. Or hit V on the keyboard and use the mouse to look at the table from another angle. If you hold the V key down and move the mouse, you can change the pivot point that the table rotates around. By hitting the T key, you turn on the tracking option. Tracking computes the path of the balls you are going to hit. Holding the F key down while moving the mouse backward or forward will change the force of the stroke. You may not be able to match that force with your stroke, but hitting the spacebar in shoot mode will execute the exact force indicated. Hit T again to turn tracking off. To try a different cue ball position on the table, hold the M key to use the Move Ball mode and use the mouse to move the cue ball. Hold the H key and use the mouse to move the cursor to another ball. Now hold the M key and use the mouse to move the chosen ball. When you're ready to aim again, just hit the A key and you'll be back in the aiming mode. Virtual Pool allows you to accurately control cue stick placement. Holding down the E key while moving the mouse will guide Q-tip contact on the cue ball. To shoot a massé shot, you need to change the angle of the cue stick. Hold the B key down and move the mouse to change the angle of the cue stick. Check the right side of the status area for the cue stick angle. Would you like to make trick shots like a pro? With Virtual Pool's cue stick control and tracking, you can make incredible trick shots. Let's set up a trick shot with 4 balls. You can spot balls onto the table by hitting Insert and clicking the cursor on the balls you want spotted. Hit the Delete key and pocket balls by clicking the cursor on them. Hit Escape or click the right mouse button to remove the pocket menu. Move the balls into position with the M and H keys. Turn on tracking. Hold down the B key and raise the cue stick. Hold down the E key and move the cue tip. Now simulate the force of your stroke by holding down the F key while moving the mouse backward or forward. The tracking line from the cue ball will extend as force is added. When the shot looks good, go to shoot mode and hit the space bar. To see some great trick shots, go to the Trick Shots section of Virtual Pool. For fast action, 9-ball is the game of choice. This variation of pocket billiards is a dynamic game, and the action is well suited to both television and high-stakes tournaments. 9-ball is now the most popular and lucrative form of pool for professional tournaments. Spectators enjoy 9-ball because at the professional level, every shot is critical. To stay in a game, players are often forced to try nearly impossible shots. Basic rules for 9-ball are in the game rules menu. Now let's take a look at what makes 9-ball such a popular game. The first 9 balls are racked for the opening break. Virtual Pool will rack the balls for you in the right order. On your opening break, you must pocket a ball or get at least 4 object balls to hit the rail. If the 9-ball is pocketed on the break and you haven't committed a foul, you win the match. For a good break, hit the 1-ball straight on and hard. For good position, try to leave the cue ball in the center of the table. After the break, it's a fast race to the 9-ball because pocketing the 9-ball is the only shot that determines who wins. On the way, you'll have to shoot from the lowest numbered ball to the highest. But sometimes it's not all that simple. You could make a run of spectacular shots and miss on pocketing your 9-ball. Your opponent could then take the game on one easy shot. Tough luck. But there is a rule you can use to even the score. It's legal to pocket the 9-ball at any time as long as the lowest numbered ball on the table is hit first. Be ready to take advantage of the table if your opponent fouls. A foul means you get the cue ball in hand anywhere on the table. This is what happens when Dead-Eyed Dan gets the cue ball in hand. Nine-ball is a game that you can win fast, or lose even faster. Eight-ball is one game of pocket billiards that everybody has heard of. The popularity of 8-ball makes it a friendly game for beginners, yet there is plenty of challenge at the amateur level of competition. Pool leagues across the country run 8-ball tournaments regularly. In the professional arena, pool players also compete in world championship tournaments. Whether you compete or not, 8-ball is more than just shooting for stripes or solids. You'll find the basic rules of 8-ball in the Game Rules section. Now let's take a look at how this popular game is played. All 15 balls are racked for the opening break. There are only 3 requirements for the rack. The 8-ball must be in the center, then a solid ball at one bottom corner, and a striped ball at the opposite bottom corner. On your opening break, you must pocket a ball or get at least 4 object balls to hit the rail. If the 8-ball is pocketed on the break and you haven't committed a foul, you win the match. But that isn't too likely. Virtual Pool will assign a ball group to the first player to pocket just solids or just stripes. From that point, it's a race to the 8-ball. Just make sure to pocket all of your group first. You foul if your cue ball hits an opponent's ball first. It's also a foul if you hit the 8-ball first or use it in a combination shot before you've pocketed all of your group of balls. The game is lost if a player pockets the 8-ball before any other balls in his group. The rules for 8-ball say, call the pocket when you make that winning shot. You'll lose the game if the 8-ball goes in the wrong pocket. Straight pool is a classic form of pocket billiards. Championship competition in straight pool began around the early 1900s, and there are still world championship tournaments today. Professional pool players consider straight pool to be the true test of a player's skill. That's because winning at straight pool demands mastery of technique and strategy. In straight pool, it's possible for a talented player to run a large number of shots without missing a ball. In this game, every shot must be called. So when a world champion like Willie Mosconi makes 526 consecutive shots without a mistake, it's truly a spectacular event. You'll find the basic rules of straight pool in the Game Rules section. Let's take a look at the particulars of this timeless game. All 15 balls are racked for the opening break. The numbers on the balls are used only for calling your shot, since straight pool is a call shot game. A bad break could lose the game, so let's look at the details of a good safety break for straight pool. On a break, at least 2 balls from the rack must be hit to a rail, and the cue ball must also hit a rail. The goal is to hit the corner ball hard enough to drive it to the end rail. The opposite corner ball should deflect to the side rail. Finally, the cue ball should roll to the back left corner. Each ball pocketed is worth a point. As long as the called shot is made, other balls pocketed on the same stroke also add to the shooter's score. Your turn will last until you miss or foul. Controlling the cue ball is critical to keeping your run of the rack. By thinking ahead, you could make a run to the final score. In straight pool, the balls re-rack when there is just 1 ball left on the table. Skill and strategy truly make the difference in winning at straight pool. Rotation is one game of pocket billiards that has a unique way of scoring. Here is one of the few games where the numbers on the balls actually count as points. The strategy that develops out of this scoring method gives rotation a different pace and feeling. For a game that isn't played at big tournaments, rotation has managed to stay popular since the late 1800s. Basic rules for rotation are in the Game Rules section. Let's see some of the action that keeps players coming back to this game. A full rack is used for the opening break. Virtual Pool will rack the balls for you in the right order. On your opening break, you must hit the 1 ball first to score. From that point on, the shooter must hit the lowest numbered ball on the table. The first player to score 61 points wins. But there is a bit of a twist to the rules. As long as a player hits the lowest numbered ball first, any other balls pocketed are scored the value of the ball. Using good strategy to score can make rotation a very interesting and challenging game. Virtual Pool will keep score for you, so give it a try.
Hi, my name is Machine Gun Lou Butera. I'm a former World Pool Champion, a member of the Billiard Congress of America Hall of Fame, and I'm going to demonstrate how I got my nickname Machine Gun Lou by running a rack of balls in less than 1 minute and 30 seconds. An aiming technique that I use is taking the tip of the cue through the center of the pocket, drawing an imaginary line back through the center of the object ball, picking a contact point on the object ball, turning the tip of the cue back through the center of the cue ball, back behind the cue ball, and hit that point. One of the most important shots in pool is a center ball hit and being able to hit it when you have to. And a good exercise for this is to shoot this cue ball over the spot and have it come back off the rail into the tip of the cue stick. When you have a perfectly straight shot and you want to stop the cue ball where the object ball is, just hit the cue ball dead center. When shooting the draw shot, you want to keep the cue stick as low and level and remember to follow through. In order to make the cue ball follow the same path as the object ball, hit the cue ball a little above center. In order to move the cue ball down to the left, hit the cue ball high with left-hand English. In order to make the cue ball come back to the right, you want to hit the cue ball high with right-hand English. Aiming a combination is almost like aiming a single ball. Determine the point in the pocket where you want to pocket the ball, come back through the first object ball, determine your contact point, come back through the second object ball, determine your contact point there. Once you've determined that contact point, come back through your cue ball and hit the first object ball on the contact point, and your 9 should go straight in. In playing kiss shots, you have to determine where the perpendicular line is. The 5 ball is aimed to this side rail. Coming over here to the center of the pocket, you would find your perpendicular line is between the 2 balls. Therefore, by hitting the 3 ball on the right-hand side, it should kiss off the 5 and go into the left-hand corner pocket. This is a carom shot where I am playing the 14 ball off the 3 ball into the corner pocket. All I have to do is determine the contact point off the 3 where I have to hit the 14 into. Using the same angle on all 3 balls here, the 1, 2, and 3, I will show you the effect of a high, center, and low ball hit on all 3 balls. This is a high ball. Now using the center ball, it should come off a little further angle. Now setting up same angle again, this time hitting it with a low ball, it should come further up table. When the balls are frozen as the 10 and 14 are and aimed in a straight line like this, what you can do is by hitting the 10 ball on the right hand side, that will throw the object ball to the left, which is what we want to do. So let's see what happens. Okay, I'm going to bank the 7 ball length of the table into this corner pocket. The 7 ball is at approximately this point on the rail, and I take and cut that rail in half, so I'm going to try and hit the 7 ball approximately into this point and bring it back into the left-hand corner pocket with a medium speed stroke.